Hi guys, welcome back to the channel. Today I've got a video covering the Fill in Your Game Board, Earn the Cobra Challenge. Now if you do like the video, as always, don't forget to like and subscribe down below, as it really does help out the channel. And yes, the Fill in Your Game Board, you can earn the Tier 9 British Premium Medium Tank, the Cobra, from this challenge, and it's a new way of doing sort of earn-ops and stuff in the game, where you've got this game board, where it will give you a series of different challenges to fill in the stamps on the board, which will unlock you different rewards, and then at the end of it, you will get yourself the Cobra. So let's have a look at the article as to how it goes. So this year, Lunar New Year falls on January 29th and marks the beginning of the year of the snake. Celebrate the occasion by trying out our new game board feature and earning the British Tier 9 Cobra. The game board represents a new way for us to present earn challenges through gameplay that should look familiar to many of you. Not only that, this challenge is the final monthly challenge in our Celebrations event. So Celebrations year-long event that they've had going on, this is the final monthly challenge for it. Complete your game board as described below and you'll get the exclusive January 2025 Celebrations emblem, so this snake. To get started, look for the game board under the Challenges tab. So I'll show you that in-game. So as you can see, challenges on your little tab at the top, and then instead of contracts, season challenges and challenges, you'll now have a game board tab as well. And you'll find this lovely little game board. There it is, your game board. On the right hand side, you'll see that the goal you can complete to earn one of the boards for stamp designs. So here you go, that's the challenge there. Deal 16,500 is the example one there. Once you complete the goal, you'll be able to place a stamp on any square that shows that design. A display between the game board and the goal, indicated with an arrow, will show you how many stamps for each design you've earned. You can place your stamps on those designs at any time. You don't have to place them right after you get them. For every row or column on your board that you fill with stamps, you'll earn the reward shown either to the left of the row or at the bottom of the column. And if you want to try a different goal, instead of the one currently in front of you, you can re-roll it and you'll get a new goal. You get one free re-roll each day that will randomly give you a new goal and stamp to earn from all the goals you have left to complete. After that, you can get an additional re-roll each day for 125 gold. So basically, if you don't like the challenge for that day and you don't want to do that challenge, you can just re-roll for free, and then if you want to re-roll again, it'll cost you gold. So I would recommend not doing that, just use your free re-roll. You can also purchase a stamp to complete any square without finishing the goal, similar to a contract stage buyout for 1,250 gold per stamp. To purchase a stamp, simply select the square you want to fill in and follow the prompts. After you fill in all 16 squares on your game board with stamps, you'll receive the Cobra, a frontline support vehicle equipped with a venomous 4-round autoloader. So I will show you all of this about the game board when we go into the game section. But we're just going to go over all the stuff in this article. There's the Cobra, troll little Tier 9 Premium Medium Tank that can be so deliciously filthy, but at the same time, absolutely awful, because it's the Cobra, it's a derpy meme. Get ready, you want to know how your game board will look until the challenge begins, but you will need to draw on all of your battle skills to complete it. So, if you already own the Cobra, because it was a Ultimate Season Pass tank for 4,000 gold about 2.5 years ago, something like that, you will get 7 million silver for it, so a hefty chunk of change, essentially. So the game board stamp goals. So these are stamp goals that you'll have in the game when you come to do the challenge. Block 4,500 damage in any number of battles, which is quite decent. Take out your sort of more heavily armoured vehicles, and that's one game board stamp. Survive 3 battles, so just surviving 3 battles will give you a game board stamp. Earn the Shell-Proof medal, which is blocking more than your hit points in a tank. That's how you get the Shell-Proof medal. So take out a mouse, you have to block more than 3,000 damage, for example. Finish 2 battles with 50% or more health remaining. So just, yeah, have more than 50% of your HP in 2 battles, and that'll get you one. 3,000 spot assist damage, so take out a light tank or a stealthy, fast, good view range medium tank, and that'll also get you the game board stamp. Top 3 spotted 2 times, so I assume that means that you will be in the top 3 for assisted damage in that regard. That's why it's top spotter. Or it'll be top 3 for the amount of tanks spotted. One of the two. Not quite sure how that one will work. But there we go. Destroy 5 tracks 2 times. So destroy 5 tracks in 2 separate battles. So what I'd recommend for that one is take out a derp gun, like an M4 Sherman, like any of the lower tier derp guns did before, and just aim for tracks. Blow the track off, let them repair it, blow it off again. That's how you do it. Shooting anything that's got pretty decent HE rounds, you'll blow tracks off first time, and that's how you want to do that one. Detect 10 enemies. So detect 10 enemies in any number of battles that you've earned 500 or more vehicle XP in. So basically what that is for you to play a scout and go spotting. But 500 or more vehicle XP means that you can't just rush into the enemy team, spot 10 tanks and blow up, because you will not get 500 or more vehicle XP for that. So you've got to play a scout properly to spot the enemy team and then get XP for it. So that basically there is to try and stop people just YOLOing into 10 tanks and then dying and going into the next one. 16,500 or more damage in any number of battles, so that could take you a couple of battles, which is good. Damage 45 enemies in any number of battles, so again, that will take a bit of time, but it's doable. Destroy 7 vehicles while undetected. That's going to be quite a difficult one for a lot of people. Basically, take out your tank destroyers, your stealthy things, and then go shooting tanks with that. Cold War might be a good one for that as well, especially if you're taking out something like the brand new ELC, even SS-12, right? Because that thing's quite easy to stay unspotted while delivering those ATGMs. Top 3 damage dealer 2 times, so placing the top 3 damage dealers on your team in 2 battles. Win 5 battles. Simple, really. Win 5 battles. You gotta have teams that let you do that first. Earn 16,000 XP in any number of battles. Again, time sink, but not the most difficult in the universe. Damage 15 undamaged enemies you are spotting. So what this one is basically if you are spotting a tank, and a tank is full HP, shoot it, and that will count as 1 to undamaged enemies you are spotting. Pretty much. So they have to be full HP, and you'll get that if you are the one spotting them. And then play 8 platoon battles. So just play a battle with your friends 8 times. So the game board rewards. So this is what you can get from completing sections of the game board. Column 1, 3 days of premium. Column 2, Chinese dragon statue. Column 3, camo vouchers. Column 4, 15,000 free XP. Row 1 complete, 400,000 silver. Row 2, 6 times free XP boosters. And 4 of those. So that's quite nice. Row 3 complete is the Sun Tzu TD? Oh my lord brain, we're failing now. 2D standard commander, there we go. Row 4 complete will give you an emblem, which is Cobra in skull. And for the full complete board, you'll get the Cobra with the Celebrations monthly emblem. So let's flick over to the game now, where I'll show you the Cobra, what I run, what the statistics of it are, and then we'll get into some gameplay of the tank as well. And I'll just show you the game board while in game 2. So let's flick over to that. Here we go. Here's the game board look, and I've already done some of the challenges, so we've got 2 stamps. And I'll show you the reroll function as well. So as you can see on the little section, we've got a shield stamp there. We've got 1 times that, and we've got on 1 times of the little downward arrow things, the blue ones. So because that's this row, that means if I fill this one in, so you can see, yep, I'm putting that stamp in from my inventory, it's ticked off. I go put this one in, that's another tick, which means I only have to get these 2 stamps now, and I'll have that whole row done, and I will unlock 400,000 silver. If I don't like the challenge, as you can see, I'm moving over to free reroll. Destroy 7 vehicles while undetected in any number of battles. Don't feel like that one. Free reroll. Yep. Reroll it. And now we can finish 2 battles with 50% or more health remaining. There you go. And that's given us another challenge to do. If I decide that I get towards the end of the challenge and I've not got enough time to complete a challenge to get a stamp and I only need 1 more to be able to earn my Cobra, I could press that like that and complete the stamp for 1,250 gold. I'm going to do it for you. For you people, I'll spend 1,250 gold just to show you people. I can do that, look. It's cost me 1,250 gold and I've filled in a stamp. So that's the multiple ways you can do this. You got 2 weeks To do this, as you can see in the top corner, time remaining is 13 days. So you've got a good amount of time to be able to do these challenges. And they're not the most difficult challenges in the universe. You've just got to adapt to your challenge, essentially. Which is quite nice. That's the thing I like about this game board, is the fact that the challenges all encourage different styles of play. Which means that it's not just grind XP, it's something a little bit different, which is nice. And it's also nice to have this sort of challenge in-game, because previously when we've had this sort of challenge, it's go to some erroneous website and then complete challenges on the website that's not even in-game, which can be a bit frustrating. Whereas now it's built in-game, it's definitely a lot nicer to have. But that's the game board, that's how you fill in stamps. If you have one stamp left and you couldn't fill out the challenge or finish the challenge, you can pay the 12.50 gold to just fill in that one extra stamp, and then you'll earn your Cobra. And if you feel like you don't like a challenge and you want to keep re-rolling, you can spend 125 gold, but I would fully recommend just waiting to get your free daily re-roll to be able to change the challenge. So, the Cobra. Hello, Mr. Cobra, Mr. Corgi Christmas Cobra that we've got here. So, what do I run in terms of equipment? Well, I run the optics, the gun stabilizer, and the GLD. And the reason for this gun is disgustingly horrible. The gun on the Cobra is really not very nice, so you really have to help it out as much as humanly possible. So I help it out with the aim time to make the aim time better, with the gun laying drive, gun stabilizer to get the accuracy during rotation and movement down as low as possible, because the gun handling is atrocious if you don't, and it still is atrocious even with it. Optics to be able to at least spot for myself a little bit, because this tank is blind, which means it does struggle to see for itself. And then, in terms of the Commander, which I've got Cobra Commander, obviously I've got the Cobra Commander in Cobra, why not? Born Leader, Rapid Reload, Sixth Sense, Situational Awareness, Rapid Aim, Supply Conservation, Steady Aim, Snapshot, Run and Gun. So, we run all 3 gun perks, because yeah, this gun is disgustingly horrible. It just is so inconsistent, it hurts generally. The supply conservation to be able to get my food back as much as possible, because to be honest, in this tank, having that food boost and getting your reload lower is always a very, very nice thing to have in the Cobra, and generally with how long it takes to reload, and sometimes the opportunities to fire, you get enough time to actually get the 15% benefit from the supply conservation when you start to reload, which is a nice thing for the tank. Rapid Aim, just to make the turret traverse better on this vehicle so that I can get my turret snapped on target very, very quickly. And these 5 perks you generally take in on all tanks in World War II. Supply Conservation could quite easily be swapped out, though, on this vehicle, and you could take it Track Mechanic, for example, to be able to get your tracks back on quicker, because they do get blown off quite a bit with the side armour. You could take Armour Angling to reduce the amount of damage coming into the vehicle. You could take Clutch Braking to be able to make the track traverse even better. Deadeye you can't take because you only have Heat and Hesh, so Deadeye doesn't work because it only works with the APCR. Oh, and it says on Heat Shells, so it could work. It never used to work with Heat Shells, so that's old brain working. But yeah, so you could take Deadeye for the heat, but not the way that I would play it, because I play the Cobra full Hesh, because that is the meme of this tank. The heat rounds for me were horrible. I did not enjoy this tank firing heat whatsoever, because the amount of times that the heat shells just got absorbed was obscene, to be honest. And because of the terrible accuracy of the vehicle as well, you had to hit specific points for that heat round to actually pen. Same as you do with the Hesh, but the amount of times that the shells would just hit somewhere on the tank and do nothing was all the time. So I just gave up with the heat rounds, and then switched to Hesh, because the Hesh is pure memes. Because you've got... So well, let's go into the statistics of the tank before I go into the Hesh. So, as you can see, we've got a 40 km/h top speed, 25 km/h reverse speed, 950 horsepower engine, which is 29.15 horsepower per ton ratio, which means you fly up to 40 km/h. It will get there very, very easily. The fact is, 40 km/h is very slow, so this tank is really not that mobile. You could run the traction system instead of the GLD to be able to get to 44 km/h, and it will hit that. It's just that there's other things about the tank that instead of just going that extra 4 kilometers, I'd rather make other stuff better, because otherwise it's still horrible in regards to the gun. 20% internal fire chance means this is on the high end of fire chances. It does get set on fire a lot, this vehicle, so that's a bit of pain. You've got 48 degrees a second on the hull rotation speed, which means the tank does turn extremely quickly on its tracks. We've got 347 meters of steel concealment, which means your camo is really quite bad, and means you get spotted quite a lot in this tank. 473 meters of view range means that you also haven't got the best view range in the universe, and it's quite easy for you to get spotted. We've got 53.52 degrees a second on the turret traverse, which is also pretty quick. It's faster than the tracks, which is nice, and it's one of the reasons that I don't run the traction system or clutch braking, so I can keep that turret traverse faster than the tracks. We've got 0.89 accuracy during rotation, which is actually, it's not good, but it's also not bad. But we've got 1.82 accuracy during movement, which again isn't great, but combined with the accuracy during rotation, but it's also not horrific. And that's because we've done absolutely everything humanly possible to get that as low as possible with all 3 gun perks and the gun stabilizer. Because yeah, if you don't, the aim circle becomes massive, and with the aim time at 3.08 with everything we've got helping it, which is atrocious, it takes a long time for this gun to aim. And the dispersion after firing is also pretty poor, so it does bloom out quite a lot after you've fired the first shell, which means you've got to aim in the shots a bit more, and that's the pain with Cobra generally. We've got 10 degrees of gun depression, which is fantastic, but 13 degrees of gun elevation means it does struggle to look up at times, which can be a bit of a problem for the Cobra, but that's an oscillating turret problem. We've got 40.52 second reload for this clip, which is horrible. It is a very, very, very long reload, which means that you spend a lot of time twiddling your thumbs while reloading this 120mm quick-fire gun. So that can be a bit of pain. We've got 0.31 accuracy at 100 meters, which again is on the derpier side of things for the Cobra. And you've got 4 shots in this auto-loading clip with a 1.5 second intra-clip reload, which means it does spit the rounds out super fast when you go in on something. And when you do clip something out, there's not much time for them to be able to react. You just have to hit them, which is a bit of a problem for the Cobra. You get heat shells, HESH shells, and HE shells, which have 268mm of penetration on the standard heat rounds, 210mm of penetration on the premium HESH rounds, and 120mm of penetration on the standard HE rounds, with 360 alpha on the heat rounds, 490 on the HESH, 515 on the standard HE. 793 meters a second shell velocity on all 3 rounds is very slow as well, meaning you've got to give a hell of a lot of lead to hit your targets at any sort of distance, which is another thing that makes this tank feel exceptionally derpy on this gun. Now, like I say, I run the HESH rounds because 210mm of penetration at tier 9 is good enough to go through most tier 7s when you hit them, well, most tier 7s in general. A lot of tier 8s you can go through, especially hitting the weak spots, and even tier 9s and 10s you can go through in that regard. The way the Cobra wants to be is to catch people out, shoot them in the sides and rears, and then with that HESH clip, you can absolutely delete people. When you catch them out and you get them, it is filthy. But because the gun handling is so bad, it can be a right pain to use the Cobra. It really, really can. And you're going to see that in the 3 replays that we've got. We've got 2 replays. Basically, in all 3 replays we've got, you'll see the good and the bad of the Cobra, where it's like, you catch someone out, absolutely delete them and go, ha, yeah! And then have another clip where it just goes, yeah, I'm just going to miss all those shots. And you sit there going, Cobra, really? Really, Cobra? Like, you know, pain. But that's the Cobra in general. Like I say, it's a nice meme tank. It's a tank you don't truly want to take too seriously. If you think you're going to go out this thing and wreck everything, you're really not. Because it truly, truly just gets trashed all the time. But it has the meme factor in the fact that that HESH clip can just be so disgustingly beautiful. That, yeah, that's why I've always enjoyed playing it, why I played it a lot. So let's have a quick look at the old module viewer for you as well. That's where the engine block is. That is most likely where you're going to get set on fire in this vehicle. And that's where the crew sits as well in this tank. And that's where the ammo block is for the Cobra as well. It's in the back of the turret. And in that center point there, it's quite difficult to ammo rack this thing unless you do shoot it in the back of the turret. So if you want to guaranteed try and ammo rack it, that's where you want to be shooting it. And in terms of armor, the armor on the Cobra is pretty nice on that underside of the turret, and that can ricochet you quite a few shots when you are hull down. Same as that angle on the top, 135. If you are hull down and using your full 10 degrees of gun depression, this thing can bounce quite a bit off its turret. But it's not something that you want to try and rely on. As same as the upper plate, it's 130mm thick at quite a sloped angle, which again can get you some very, very nice bounces. But at the same time, don't rely on it. This thing is not that well armoured. And the side armour as you can see, is also 30mm thick, which means it gets overmatched by most vehicles it's going to face at tier 9 and 10. So most things that start to shoot you towards your side armor will go straight through, and you're a derp gun's paradise, because derp guns will go straight through your side and rear quite easily if they avoid the spaced armor, which can be pain for the Cobra. So yeah, that's the Cobra statistics, that's the arm profile, that's the crew and equipment setup. Like I say, it's a troll of a tank. It can be fun. It can also be a right pain to use, and a lot of people will struggle with this vehicle in general, as a lot of people have since it's been released. But also, you will see the filthiness of it, where you can just go, oh, that's super satisfying, right? So as always, everybody, I'm going to send you over to the replays where you can watch this thing in action, see how it handles, and yeah, I'll let you enjoy the Cobra. So here we are in the replays with the old Cobra. And this first game is generally a fairly average representation of the Cobra, where you're a little bit too slow to get to some very nice positions for it. The gun absolutely says no, but then sometimes absolutely says yes. And we will come out with a decent damage total in this game for a tier 9. But at the same time, it just is a full representation of everything that Cobra does. So this first game on Cliff, we are going into the position in the bowl area, or the donut area, at E3. But we've only got a 40km/h top speed, which means we're just not quick enough to get in there and help the light tank. And I see everything like the big one for me was the QL, and I went, absolutely not. And the best thing is, yeah, we decided, no, it's not going to work, we're not going to do it. The Centurion 7-1 that was looking at us a minute ago decides to try and take a shot at us, gets spotted. It's like, okay, 459. Mostly on his upper plate, and we've got 1 going. 3 just hit his turret. The last shot was always going to hit his turret because we didn't have his upper plate anymore. But 2 of the shells that had all of his upper plate and lower plate, where we would pen him, only splashed him for 90 odd. Which is pain. Because the first one went in, it was like, aha, beautiful, I can clip this Centurion out. This is going to, oh. Yeah, it didn't happen. It's just the way that the Cobra gun does it that can be pain. But you can also see the mobility. It's not got the best mobility in the universe, which meant that we really did struggle to get anywhere near the location that I do like to take on Cliff, because I can get good shots at people like these guys in the middle where they are currently. But they've got the position now instead. So I'm trying to use the 40km/h top speed to get me back up, to get into a position to shoot the people up here. Try and help my team out, because we don't really have the best map control at this moment in time. So we take a hit from the Progetto 66, and I'm just moving myself into the position at this building to keep myself covered from the QL and the Progetto, and then I can use this rock to pop shots. And then we find the QL in an awkward spot, and that is we put 2 shots into his engine deck, and we hit him and penned him twice. The third one hit the floor, because the other 2 hit it perfectly, and the one just had to hit the floor, and the 4th one went in and didn't really have to pen him, it just splashed him and finished him off. And we got rid of that tier 10 Chinese heavy tank fairly quickly there for the Cobra, and now we're just hiding behind the building while we reload on this very, very long reload. Because as you can see, there is a lot of this. There is a lot of this in the Cobra, where we've just dumped the clip, and we're now sitting going... Now we're nearly loaded. It's like, okay, what's the next target? An M46 pattern. Okay, 1 shot, 2 shots, 3 shots. Can we finish him off? Thankfully, 147. We took a full clip to do about 400 damage there, because we'd never penned him, which is a bit of a problem when you fire Hesh. You really have to avoid spaced armor, as it's HE. Hesh is HE. So you will either pen or you will splash. If you're doing 90 damage, 140 damage, you're not penning, you're just splashing, which is what HE does. But we got rid of the American tier 9 medium tank, although he did pen us, which meant that we're now down to 440 hit points, which is not the most ideal in the universe, as we, you know, there's some tanks that could kill us in 1 shot, or a 2 shot. So the Progetto 66 is a problem. He takes a hit from artillery, but I see the E5, I'm like, Mr. E5, please kill him, I would love that. The one tank that is in my mind currently that I want to go after is the Progetto 65 that was in that middle area where the QL was, and I don't want to move up yet before getting rid of him, because it's just going to go badly for me otherwise. He could clip me out quite easily, and I don't want that. So we get spotted. There is absolutely nothing at all that could spot us, except for possibly that 65 in the middle. So I know he has come back. And I'm still 6th sense. Detector goes up. Okay, he's definitely in that bowl area. But look, the 430U's moving in. So the 430U should spot that Peugeot 65. And there we go. He was there because it was the only place that I could have been being spotted from. Because the guy on the hill is on the opposite side of the little hill section. So we're just keeping our eye on that 430U and Peugeot 65's little battle. I want to try and climb the hill if I can. And there we go. We've got shots. One doesn't pen. The second one does. 452. The third one does, and he gets finished off by the IS-32, and that is just how fast the damage can rack up in the Cobra. Because we went from 2.5 to 3.5 in 3 shots, right? And when you catch things out and pen them like that, your damage does rack up quickly. You can go from having a terrible game, having fired 4 to 5 clips of having, I don't know, 1,000 damage, and then you get that one tank that drives in, gives you his ass. Say you find a Super Conqueror, for example, and you go, Mr. Super Conqueror, hello, how you doing? I've surprised you. You find his ass, exceptionally easy to pen, 2k damage, just like that, and you go from having a bad 1,000 damage game to, oh, I've done 3k damage, just like that. Can be very, very nice. So we're trying to shut down this T95 E6. I know I can get him through the gap. We put a shot into his tracks. He ends up high rolling, because he nearly killed us there, but we end up shutting down the E6 with the 2 shots through that gap. We've got 1 shot left. I try and blind fire towards where the GUI was, but the GUI just got shut down by the E6, so that was never going to work. And the Waffle E100 shuts down the Peugeot 65. And we finished the game, like I say, with a pretty decent total there for the Cobra, with the victory, 3 kills, 3.8k damage, 421 assistance damage, a lot of silver lost, the first class, and you will lose a lot of silver playing like this, because it is a meme. It is a meme, and you are firing full premium. But it's because the Hesh is a meme. And we are really trying to live that meme, because otherwise it's just a really bad tank if you fire heat. To be perfectly honest, it really is. The Cobra is one of those tanks. It's absolutely dreadful. To be perfectly blunt to it, it is a dreadful tank. But it has that possibility of beautiful memes, which is the way that a lot of derp tanks are as well. Right? It takes a lot of effort to get the best out of this tank. And even then, sometimes it can still stick the middle finger up at you and go, ha, no. Right? But when it does work, and you get rewarded for that effort, oh, it feels so good. It's why you get that out of a lot of derp tanks as well, which is why I always love derp tanks. It takes a lot of effort to get the best out of them, but when the Heichi hits, or the Hesh hits, oh boy, the Heichi hits. Oh, we popped his lid. We popped that poor Aguilar's lid. Oh dear, that poor guy. But yeah, when it hits. Which is why I'm never a fan of playing a tank like the AVRE, for example, because it's just easy to do the damage and make the HE work. Whereas when you're playing something like this, it really takes a lot to make the most out of it, because it hates you. This tank probably most definitely hates you, and will miss the majority of shots you try and take. But when you get the chance to do something like you did to that poor Aguila, oh yeah, it's delightful, and it can be really quite fun to play. So, the second game, we are on Fjords. And on Fjords, we've managed to come to this position here where we can try and catch people out in the side and rear. We got rid of that Aguila. I'm not quite sure what he was trying to do, but we got rid of him. And we found a T30, so we're going around the corner slowly to find the T30, trying to go for his lower plate, and we go underneath him. Second shot pens him for 500. Third shot pens him for 567. Can we finish him off? Yes, 311. Just like that. Full health T30. Gone. And that is the beauty of the Cobra. Because when it works, oh my lord, it's filthy. But it doesn't work very often. And that's the reason it's balanced like it is, right? Because that Hesh clip is just disgusting. And when it works, yeah, you're gone. But at the same time, it doesn't happen very often at all, because this tank is truly atrocious in terms of shooting things. So that Leopard gets spotted. I'm like, Mr. Leopard. Oh, yes, Mr. Leopard. I like you. Hesh likes you. Let me Hesh you. 194. 520. 231. 227. We only penned him once and then splashed him 3 times. Oh, Hesh. I mean, we took away over 1,000 of his hit points, but Hesh, we could have deleted that leopard one in the blink of an eye. And we just didn't get to do it because the Hesh only penned him once and then splashed him for over 100 and a bit. Or nearly 200 really, for 2 of the shots at least. But we're up to 3.8k damage. And like I say, that's how quick the damage can rack up for Cobra. Because we went from, you know, not having much to, oh, we're at 3.8. And there's still quite a bit left to go for. So we're going to push into where this T58 Heavy is now. Because their team is currently going down. It is 11-8. And it's just time to put the pressure on. If we can get rid of the T58, that would be good. But he gets gone. The Leopard 1's pushed to the corner at J5. So I'm really thinking about going after the Leopard and the TD. Help our TDs push it out that J position. But we've got to be careful. Because there will be tanks camping. Just like that shot hit us there. There will be tanks camping on their camper hill that I've just pinged right there. And in fact, it's a Roswell. It's like, hello, Mr. Roswell. Don't mind if I Hesh. Can we find the shots in? We get one shot into the side of him, 485. The second shot, 557. The tank behaved. And we hit him twice there for 1,002 shots. We've still got 2 shells left. There's still something over there, though. And it doesn't like us currently. So it's like, oh, go on then. Shoot me. Get spotted. Oh, Mr. SMV. I'm not really going to pen that with Hesh. So we're just going to put the 2 shots. And that's the Cobra. You've just seen it in one clip. That is the Cobra. Those 2 shots at the Roswell. Hit and penned. Right? And you sit there going, wow, RNG was with me. And then we were never going to pen that SMV, but I just wanted to splash him and hit him. One shot went straight over him, even though it was mostly aimed. And the second shot went right under him. And missed completely. That's the Cobra's clip in general. That's just the way it goes. Like, that is the Cobra. That was the best representation I could have ever had for it in one clip. 2 shots that look like they shouldn't really ever go in. And then 2 shots that look like they should go, or at least hit. No, absolutely not. So there's only 2 tanks left on the enemy team. There's the heavy tank at E9, who's pushing down towards their cat to try and reset it, or try. I don't even, he's in a good position anyway. And the Lanson C. So Mr. Lanson C, I have a full clip for you. I can pen a Lanson C quite easily with 210 pen Hesh. So I'm really hoping that I can play that full assassin role that the Cobra wants to be playing. It doesn't want to be full in people's faces brawling at the front line. It wants to be going, hello, surprise! As it then clips someone out, right? That's the way Cobra wants. The only problem is, it's quite difficult to get the Cobra to be there, because as you can see, we're just slow. We're just slow. It takes a while. But, Mr. Lanson C, I'm here. We get a shot in that tracks him only. Second shot, 510. We can finish him off with one more shot, but he gets finished off by the 780. We've got 2 shots for the E100 now, who is going to be a right pain to pen. And he's looking at me! It's like, oh my goodness me. Why are you... Why? Why is the E100's got like 3 tanks in front of him? And he's like, this Cobra. I cannot allow it. But we pen him in the side of the turret for 413. Massive low roll, but he's probably running arm wrangling realistically. And the second shot damaged him for 13. We should have probably waited an extra second for him to turn his turret to someone else, and we'd have had the flat side of the turret, because 210 pen can go through the side of the D100 turret, like you saw, but it has to hit it flat on. And we got 1 pen into the side of his turret, and the second one, because he turned his turret even more to go after the light tank, meant that we couldn't pen it. But I'm watching this guy going, how is he still alive? I was expecting him to have died by now, because I'm nearly loaded. That was nearly a full 40-second reload. But he finally gets killed by the 268, and finished getting the victory. 2 kills, 6,019 damage, 980 assistance, the first class, the high caliber, with that 1,754 base XP. Really great game there for the Cobra. And yet again, same as the first replay. You saw some of the good of the tank, and then you saw some of the terrible of it, where you go, I'm hitting shots that I really shouldn't hit. But then I'm also missing shots that I really probably should hit, right? The T30, we absolutely just eviscerated. It was like, hello, Mr. T30. It is your time to die, my son. And, yeah, full health to nothing in what was basically 3 shots. I mean, we splashed him with 1, but the shot. That was the thing with the T30. That first shot that we took at him was more aimed at his upper plate than the other 2, well, the other 3 were. And it went straight underneath him. But then the other 3 just went, yeah, 210 pen, I can pen that shooting down on the upper plate for T30. And went bang, 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 1,600. in what was 3 shots, and good night, Mr. T30, which is the effectiveness of the Cobra right there. But then, yeah, shots like the SMV, where we have 2 shots that hit the Roswell with ease, and then 2 shots that should hit the SMV but go absolutely nowhere near him. And yeah, that's the pain. But Mr. Cobra time on Hidden Village. We go for the lower plate of the E75, doesn't go anywhere near. The machine gun port on top of the KV4 KTTS. We try and hit it, full clip, and 484 damage. And that is all we managed from that clip. All of that reloading for 40 seconds for 484 damage. Cobra, like I say, it's the way the Cobra crumbles. It's just, yeah, it is what it is. So we're waiting for the reload now. Again, like I say, this is what happens with Cobra a lot. You sit here going, oh, 4005. Oh, 4005, come to daddy. 483, no AVRE. I want to, oh, that's a Conqueror. Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. Oh, yes. Cobra, speak to me. As we end up hitting that 4005, and I was like, that's lunch right there. The AVRE got in the way, meaning we couldn't get any more shots into the 4005, but the Conqueror poked round the corner and just gave us his lower plate, and all 3 rounds went straight true. Again, you can see it right there in the damage. We went from 480 odd damage to 2.4k damage in 1 clip. And that's Cobra. Full 4 pens of this hash is just disgusting. When it works, oh boy, it works. 1 into the 4005, 2 into the 4005. I really wanted to kill him, but we couldn't get it. The lower plate of these 75s hanging in the breeze, which we aimed for, but we didn't quite get it. We did take a hit there from the KV4 KTTS. I'm just looking to see where I can get the final shot in, and we do track damage only. But that 4005 is really hurting. Them and Waffly 100s are the pure dream of Cobra. Things with fat, weak lower plates, like Yag Tiger, like the Conqueror that you've seen in this game, are again the dream. Anything that's made of pure paper is the dream. The counter to Cobra is armor. When it starts to get quite thick armor, like that E75, and it becomes a bit more of a pain to pen in the lower plate, and even the side armor can be a bit of a pain, that's where this tank really does start to struggle. So we're now loaded. It's like, hello, Mr. AVRE. Good night, Mr. AVRE. It's always a great time to eliminate those tanks from the game. We're up to 3.7k damage with 2 kills, and I really want to keep deleting. So the Leopard 1 was spotted in the distance, but he gets unspotted. But in fact, there's the STB-1. Aim the shot up, and we didn't have to pen the STB-1 to kill him there. We only had to splash him, and we shut him down. 430 version 2 gets spotted, so we're just waiting for him to pull back. We get 1 shot into his side, 2nd shot misses, and we're still pending for 500 odd, which is really, really tasty for the Cobra. Again, we're in that very, very long reload, and we're just waiting for the clip to come back. And this is the pain of Cobra, is the amount of time. The thing is, some of these games go very, very quickly, and Cobra doesn't do very well in the very fast games, especially if there's quite a bit of armor knocking around naturally, because you struggle to pen things a lot with the hash rounds, and even the heat rounds, because you've got to hit the specific spots to be able to pen them with heat, and then it gets absorbed for no reason at all, well, because heat rounds. But you spend a lot of time splashing things, and then their team just evaporates, meaning that you don't actually really do much damage anyway. So we're going for the shots into this KV4 KTTS, and as you can see, I'm just trying to find somewhere where 210 can actually pen it, but realistically, the 210 pen is really going to struggle to actually penetrate a KV4 KTTS, and we waste a whole hash clip for not very much damage at all. As we're up to 4.7k damage though, which is a damn nice game. I'm waiting for the reload, looking at what target I want to go after next, because it's all about what target we're going to go for. We can see the tanks in the middle. I would really like to get up behind these vehicles and drop my hesh rounds into their ass, because that's what the Cobra wants to do. The E75 is still alive at E2, which we could go for, but I figure that we know where the other 3 tanks are. I could poke over and go behind them, But instead, what I'm going to do is go after this leopard where our TD is. Because the TD gets shut down by the Type 4 Heavy, meaning there's no one else really pressuring this leopard behind us, meaning it's lunchtime at the Cobra yard. So he's going to really feel the bite of the Cobra now, this leopard, as I am fully going for him. And it's like, hello, Mr. Leopard. You don't know I'm coming, but I'm here, my son. I was hoping it'd track him, actually, with that first shot, which it didn't. But we get 2 shots into his upper plate and finish him off. And go straight for the reload. I'm going to wait before the food boost, because that is one thing you want to do, till I hit about 31, 32 seconds. Because the moment I hit there, that's where I'm going to feel the benefit of the food boost on my reload. Because naturally, the food only lasts for 30 seconds, so there's no point in boosting my reload with food when I'm at 40 seconds, because I'm not going to get the benefit. Because as soon as the food runs out, it will go back to what the standard reload was anyway. So as soon as you hit 30 to 32 seconds on the reload on this tank, that's when you hit food, so that you get the most benefit out of that for the reload. So there's only one tank left. It's the Type 4 Heavy, which can be a pain for Cobra to pen. So we're just going for the cupola here, and you can see I've taken the hit. I don't care. I'm trying to make sure I am getting the pen, but whole clip wasted at that Type 4 Heavy. No real damage from it, and that's where it's a bit of a pain for Cobra when you're getting against those very heavily armoured vehicles. 210 Pesh. 210 Pesh? Yes, 210 Pesh. That's the word. 210 Pen Hesh can really let it down, and it will struggle. But I'm like, Mr. Type 4 Heavy, I'm spotted, look. I know I can take a hit from the Type 4 Heavy, so I'm like trying to distract him so that I take the hit instead. I'm like, hello, Type 4 Heavy. I'm alive. I'm a Cobra. I'm here. But he's not interested in it. You know what? We're going to close the distance on this Type 4 Heavy, especially now that he's gone behind the rock. We're nearly loaded. Wiggle, wiggle, wiggle. Make it as difficult as possible for him to be able to get the shot in. Go for the shot on the move. It doesn't go in. He's surrounded by our team and gets shut down. So that's the end of the game for the Type 4 Heavy. But that was the Cobra. Again, it can be so filthy, but at the same time, can be such a struggle. And we're finished with 4 kills, 5.8k damage, the ace tank of the high caliber, with the 2039 base XP. A really great game there for Cobra yet again. Again, showing the good and the bad of the tank, where there's sometimes, like the Conqueror at the start in the 4005, where it just is so filthy. It's delightful. But at the same time, Type 4 Heavies happen, and you go, I can't do anything at all, and it's a struggle to even hit the thing. But that's Cobra. So as always, everybody, thank you very much for watching. I'll see you next time.
A great success!